Hi, hello guys. My present work, what I'm doing at the moment, entails examining the effects of trauma on genocide victims. And I like to work from home, so I interrogate this phenomena among my own people, the Bini people, who suffered two genocides in the 20th century. The first was cultural. The British Empire implemented cultural genocide against the Igbo people. The second was the genocide by mass violence, which annihilated more than one-third of the population of the Biri people and destroyed a homeland that had been put together for 1,300 to 1,500 years ago. And to the best of my knowledge, nothing has been done to heal the people. So as I kept looking at this trauma, I recalled what happened in 2017. I was looking for a PhD placement. I was looking for opportunities to do a PhD. And I wrote to so many scholars. I wrote to a Yoruba scholar. I would say that if you are talking about history, I don't think anybody from Nigeria has a higher profile than this Yoruba historian at a university in Texas. I wrote him and told him that I wanted to continue studying a history or the history of the Hebrew Israelites, which was what I engaged with during my MA studies at the Florida International University, Miami. He wrote back within 2 days and said, why don't you consider interrogating the Igbo Jewish connection? I'll repeat what I said. I was looking at universities in the US to see if I could find a program where I could continue and do a PhD. Among the people I wrote, among the academics I wrote, was a Yoruba scholar teaching at a university in Texas. I do not think any historian from Nigeria, when I say historians now, I mean people that strictly work in the field of history, not people like us that work in history, also work in anthropology, work in religion. This guy works strictly in history. I do not think the name of anybody rings a louder bell than the name of this guy. I don't want to mention his name because in this world where you have to be politically correct at all times, you need to get permission from people before you mention their names. So I wrote to him and told him that I'm looking for a scholar that would work to get me invited to his university and then work together with me to extend what I've done on the history and culture of the Hebrew Israelite movement in the United States of America, which was what I studied at my MA level. His response was brief and to the point. He said, you are Igbo, why don't you study the Igbo Jewish link? Then he thanked me and that was that. Recently, I was thinking about this again as I continue to engage with my work, healing, delivering solutions for people who suffered genocide but we are not healed. And it occurred to me that most Igbo scholars would not give that response that this gentleman gave. They would be doctors too in history, but they will not be confident enough to believe that Igbo history actually began from ancient Israel. Those Igbos will not have the confidence. And when I came to this point, I decided to engage with other scholars in the field of genocide and trauma. And the conclusion we reached was the Yoruba had not suffered what Igbo suffered, so they are comfortable in their traditions. And because they are comfortable in their traditions, they can discuss the traditions of other people with confidence. But because the ground had been taken away from under the feet of the Igbos, the Igbo professor is not comfortable, not bold enough to say, since 500 years ago, it was put down on paper that I circumcised my males on the 8th day, and throughout the continent of Africa and the Middle East, you find only the Igbo people and people closely associated with the Israelites, not in the continent of Africa, but like North Africa or the Middle East, carrying out this particular ritual. That is strong enough grounds for me to believe that there is a connection between the two. And most Igbo scholars will not be bold enough to assert this connection, to defend it. So we all concluded that the Yoruba is this confident because the Yoruba does not have prolonged trauma for a very long time, distorting his perceptions, marring his judgments, making him unable to articulate a lot of things. And then I realized that I wasn't where I was supposed to be because the trauma that Igbo people suffered has to be healed so that these people will take their place in the Committee of Nations. Meanwhile, have a good rest of the Shabbat. Thank you.